28, 2019 Poquoson School Board meeting to order. First up, pledge to the flag and inspirational reading. Brendan.
Thank you. Jaden Todd is a senior at Poquoson High School who has been on the honor roll during all 4 years at PHS. He is on the yearbook staff and is a vital part of the counseling office aide team. After high school, Jaden plans to major in biology at Old Dominion University to become a paleontologist.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Taylor Frazier is a senior at Poquoson High School who has been on honor roll all 4 years of high school and is a member of the National Honor Society. She is a member of show choir, a special friend, and a teacher aide for Mrs. Boyle in the special education department. After high school, she plans to major in special education at Radford University.
Carry out a random act of kindness with no expectation of reward, safe in the knowledge that one day someone might do the same for you. This was a quote by Princess Diana of Wales. She was one of the most well-known people across the world for generosity and charity work. She didn't do the things so that the public would be accepting of her. She did them simply because they made her feel good and they made her happy. She didn't expect to receive any awards or get any publicity from her help. She just wanted to help others better their lives so that they could carry it along and be helpful. Back in the 80s, when there was the AIDS crisis, everybody was scared to be near someone with the disease. She did something that at the time was far-fetched. She shook the hand of a person with AIDS. And at the time, if you just touched somebody or came into any contact with them, you would automatically contract it. She had taken one small action by shaking his hand, even though he had a disease, and changed the outlook of the public forever. She received no prize for doing that, but by the action that she did, the doctors and researchers were able to further their studies and help people. Just one small action by one person can change everyone's judgment. Today is the day. Go out and do something remarkable and change the world.
Thank you. Next is student presentation, and have Poquoson High School students. As the digital marketing industry continues to grow, Poquoson High School was fortunate to offer a digital marketing course for the first time this school year. Students from Ms. LeBlanc's class are excited to share their digital marketing experiences this evening. Those participating are Gunnar Phillips, Brian Major, Ashlyn Holloway. And students, if y'all could stick around just for a few minutes afterwards, we'd like to take a short break and come out and talk with you.
All right. Good evening. I'm Gunnar Phillips, and my career pathway is Business and Marketing Management. I, along with my two peers, will be sharing with you some of the projects that we worked on in our inaugural digital and social media marketing class. Every spring, students are given the opportunity to choose electives to take for the upcoming year. Electives are classes you can take on top of your core classes that relate to your interest and your career pathways. Our project for the second quarter was to create 43 elective videos for the students of Poquoson. We made these videos to assist the students in choosing electives for the next year, and these elective classes can help students decide on what they want to do in the future. In order to edit these videos at a high quality, the school provided our classroom with new computers, recording equipment, and they installed new video editing software. These videos were presented to 724 students, which were 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. We presented these videos in the career fair and in the students' English classes. Counselors meet with students over the course of 33 days. Students were to choose 3 classes out of the many that the school offers. First time we recorded the videos, there were multiple problems. We had to look at the work that we created, evaluate it, and make adjustments to meet the expectations of the project. The audio was muffled along with the lighting. The camera that we used was shaky because of the camera tripod. During the process of taking the videos, we had problems with the GoPro and iPad, but it did not stop us from making the videos. We reviewed our work and shot a re-record of every single video to ensure quality. During this process, I learned that when a problem pops up, you have to pick up the pieces and keep moving forward. The help from Ms. LeBlanc and Mr. Bombo was very helpful when we realized the videos came out badly. Some teachers removed the due date of an assigned project because you weren't done, but we have a set deadline and had to meet it by that day. I learned the importance of meeting a hard deadline when others are counting on you for a final product. As you see, the lighting, as you can see, the lighting and audio were off and did not meet our high standards. In the final video, you can see the lighting and audio is way better and the camera is not shaking. Now I will hand the presentation off to my peer, Brian Major.
Thank you, Gunnar. My name is Brian Major, and I will be pursuing physical activity and health at Auburn University. This year, we were given the task of being event planners and social media marketers. The PTO asked us to help create awareness on social media and encourage people to attend or participate in the Poquoson basketball battle, an event that hadn't been held at Poquoson in quite some time. We accomplished this task by creating social media posts and posters where we applied the marketing mix. Our class developed images for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all of which required different dimensions, so each one had to be created especially for that platform. We had 3 objectives to our posts, which encouraged people to register, purchase tickets, and provide event details. We presented our final products to Ms. Palmatree, the PTO fundraising coordinator, where she selected the images that were to be posted. Executing an event takes many moving parts and is not an easy task. As a class, we oversaw the music playlist, hosted fun in-between games, and had 2 students work as the master of ceremonies. These images include our winners at the event and examples of our event announcement flyer and a social media post with event details. The final outcome was the PTO was able to raise approximately $850. The event had 53 student players participate in hopes of challenging the 12 faculty members in the final game. The junior class winners of the overall battle earned bragging rights for 1 year. Now I'll hand over this presentation to my peer, Ashlyn Holloway.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, my name is Ashlyn Holloway, and I'm pursuing a career in special effects makeup. In digital marketing this year, we created an online presence through a blog on WordPress.com. The big concept was to choose our topic of interest, which for me was makeup and special effects. We had a blog challenge every week in which we had to tie it with our topic. We had a how-to subject where I did a smoky eye look, and a beginner blog where I talked about the makeup basics, and a product review where I reviewed an eyeshadow palette. Creating the blog was a 5 to 6 step process. There was blog research on day 1 where we had to find 5 resources that talked about our topics. I used a lot of beauty influencers and makeup websites. On day 2, we wrote a 400-word entry using the research to support our ideas. On day 3, we had to create our media, which could be photos or videos. I personally always took my own photos for my personal blog. On day 4, we finalized and published our work on WordPress.com, which at first was difficult, but after repetition, it became easy. Once we were done, we then shared and reflected. We had the chance to see what others had created of the very interest of their class. I have displayed my examples of pictures of what my blog developed into. I've included my introduction post, which includes my favorite look I've done, and other posts I have uploaded onto Gory Glamour. As you can see, I strive to be your not-so-average makeup artist. We created an impact by reaching out to an influence of our interests. We were able to create a voice and a brand for ourselves. I created my blog, Gory Glamour, where I was able to develop a brand for myself, display my work, and share my expertise on the products like professionals in the industry. This experience will be able to help me in the future, and it was shared with me that when this project was created, it was created with me in mind. As you can see, all of our projects in digital and social media marketing highlighted the 5 C's and moved each of us towards the Virginia profile of a graduate. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well done. Thank you all. Next, we have additions or modifications.
We have none this evening.
Thank you. And recognitions, I'll turn it over to Dr. Parrish.
Yes, we're going to recognize our art teachers this evening, so I'd ask that Kay Bolden from the Poquoson Art League come forward.
The Poquoson Art League has always supported and promoted art in our community. And this is reflected in our holiday gallery that we have every year in the fall. And we also thank the school board for supporting the art community and the school system. The Art League this year would like to give checks to the art teachers for each school, and each check is for $1,000. I would like to present the first check to Joanne Wynn, with primary and elementary school teacher. Thank you very much. The next check
Do me a
is
favor
for-
and stay up there, and we'll do a group photo. Thank you.
The next check is to Paula Freeman for the middle school. We hope these checks will supplement the supplies that are required or special equipment that is required that the teachers often have to support themselves. The next check is for the high school, Paula Bennett.
Was Dr. Carter and Ms. Helsel move over to our recognition area, I want to thank the Art League for the support they provide each year they come forward with these funds, and I know our art teachers appreciate it. At this time, I would ask that Delegate Gordon Helsel please come forward so that we can recognize him. Delegate Helsel has served as our delegate to the Virginia House of Delegates since 2011. This followed after spending 29 years on the City of Poquoson City Council and included his 15 years as mayor of Poquoson. While serving us in Richmond, Delegate Helsel demonstrated his support for public education and, in turn, our school division. He consistently reached out to get superintendent's thoughts on bills in the budget as it related to K-12 education. If he had a concern, he took steps to address it. An example of this occurred when he arranged for a former Secretary of Education to meet with him, as well as representatives from the school divisions in his district to include teachers and me. The meeting allowed us to share our views on the issue of special education. This issue was important to him because he knew of the struggles of students with disabilities who lived in our city. Delegate Helsel became a member of the Committee for Education in the House. It is here that he not only impacted his district, but in fact K-12 education throughout the Commonwealth. He continued his practice of reaching out to educational leaders for advice as bills moved through the committee. After doing so, he consistently voted in support of public K-12 education. On more than one occasion, he crossed party lines and made a difficult vote because he knew it was the right thing to do for students, teachers, and schools. Through his votes, he ensured that local school boards maintained their authority. An example of this was his vote against allowing homeschool students to play sports. His vote is what prevented the bill from leaving the committee and going to the floor. This was just one example of some of the tough votes that he made while on that committee. Each year, Delegate Helsel also focused his efforts on the state budget and its impacts on schools. He was acutely aware of the needs of the schools as a result of his service on City Council. to include during the early part of the recession. He always sought advice while the House budget was being developed. He also always called after the House released its budget to determine exactly what it meant for our schools. As part of his budget work, he was a tireless advocate for increasing teacher salaries. Our schools, as well as schools throughout the peninsula and the state, benefited from the public service that Delegate Helsel provided. His recognition by the Virginia Association of School Superintendents, Virginia School Boards Association, and the Virginia Education Association is an example of that fact. He will truly be missed next year when the General Assembly begins its 2020 session. He has certainly earned the chance he will now have to truly retire from public service to his city, state, and country. Please join me in thanking and recognizing Delegate Helsel for all that he has done for our schools and public education in Virginia.
Gosh, thank you all so much. It's very humbling to receive this award. There are a lot of people that are responsible for this. Your superintendent, for one, certainly the school board, another. I could always count on an email from Jennifer every day, Monday through Friday. And she was one of many. All of the superintendents would email me, the school boards would email me, the principals would email me, and so they allowed me to be able to do what the experts know need to be done for educating our children in the Commonwealth. And so I share this with all of them, because was it not for them and their help, this would not have been possible. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Next, we'd like to recognize our Volunteer of the Month. So if Denise Hernandez would please come forward. Upon moving to Poquoson in 2007, Denise Hernandez instantly became a dedicated volunteer within Poquoson City Public Schools. She was active with the Poquoson Elementary PTO for 6 years, serving as both the Festival of the Arts Chair and Spirit Wear Chair. As her own children transitioned to Poquoson Middle School, so did Ms. Hernandez, where she served for 6 years as a volunteer coordinator and 8th grade celebration co-chair. In 2016, Ms. Hernandez became the secretary of the Poquoson High School PTO, and this year she stepped up as president. Her dedication continued when no volunteers came forward to chair this year's after prom. Ms. Hernandez stepped into that role as well, diligently working to provide a safe and fun event for students. In addition to dedicating numerous hours to our schools, Ms. Hernandez works for the United States Air Force, is a military spouse and mom to Haley and Jacob, both who are students at PHS. Poquoson High School appreciates all that Ms. Hernandez does to support our students and staff, and we are thrilled to recognize her as the May 2019 Volunteer of the Month. Please join me in congratulating her. Our Senior of the Month, Rachel Sue, was unable to be here, so we will recognize her at a future meeting. So now I would ask that Brendan Smith come to be recognized. We're recognizing Brendan because he has served as the student school board representative this entire year with us and certainly done a tremendous job. Brendan is a junior at PHS and has served as a PHS school board representative this past year. He's the Deputy Secretary of General Model United Nations, National Honor Society Treasurer, and is involved with student-to-student, band, SCA, Spanish Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, the Bully Prevention Committee, and is a member of the PHS varsity soccer team. Brendan is an Eagle Scout and Boy State delegate for 2019. Away from PHS, he is involved with Tabernacle United Methodist Church Appalachian Service Project and the Emmanuel Lutheran Church Finance Committee. After high school, he would like to major in commerce at the University of Virginia or Washington and Lee University. Please join me in thanking Brendan for his service as a school board student representative.
And now we'd like to break and meet with you folks.
Of course. Not for me.
Start probably 2 weeks, because we're out of town. I'm out of town for a week, and vacation starting and stuff.
Okay, next presentation reports. First up is financial update with Ms. Woodruff.
Good evening, Chairman Carter, members of the school board, and Dr. Parrish. For the finance report this evening, I just have a few brief updates. City Council approved the school board's funding request for fiscal year 2020 without any changes. Therefore, since there were no changes, no further action is required by the board at this time. Staff has begun working on the closeout of fiscal year 2019, and we are meeting with the auditors next week for planning of the upcoming audit process. The auditors will be here for preliminary work towards the end of June and will continue on and off throughout the summer. Then they will resume their full audit work at the beginning of September. For your consideration this evening is the Commonwealth of Virginia Voluntary Group Long-Term Care Insurance Program Employer Adoption Agreement. VRS is offering a long-term care insurance program that is underwritten by Genworth Life Insurance Company to provide a maximum monthly benefit for covered long-term care expenses. And if approved, this is a voluntary program that our employees can participate in for themselves and select family members ages 18 through 75 with multiple plan options available. There would be a special enrollment period with VRS from September 16th to October 11th with an effective date of December 1st. VRS will provide more information about this program in the fall for our employees. We are also preparing for our open enrollment with staff, which will be from June 3rd through June 21st for employees to complete their benefit selections. And we will have representatives from our providers on site the first week of June to meet with employees and answer their questions. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions, comments there? Thank you. Next is operations update and PMS modernization project. Pappas.
Good evening, Chairman Carter, School Board, and Dr. Parrish. In your consent agenda tonight, you'll see a request for authorization to extend the custodial contract for an additional year. This is a continuation of the existing contract. As a reminder to our community, we outsourced our custodial services many years ago, in part as a cost savings measure. In the area of the PMS modernization, the architects and engineers continue to perform assessments of various building spaces for the purposes of obtaining accurate insight and information on the existing facility. This information is vital to them helping to determine the scope of work needed to modernize air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and heating systems. Vestibule project. As a reminder, and as a result of the work done by the City Safety Committee work that was done last year, PCPS will be adding 2 vestibules at the main entrances of the high school and primary school. There are already 2 such vestibules at PES and PMS. The vestibules will ensure that everyone coming to the schools will be required to show an ID and talk to a staff member prior to entering the building itself. And that concludes my operations report.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments there?
Just one question. I know we entered into the agreement with outsourcing the cleaning services back in 2015. How often does that come up for requests for proposals? I noticed this looks like a 1-year extension of the existing program.
This is the last year. But to answer your question more specifically, we enter contracts typically for 1 year with the option to renew for up to 4 additional consecutive 1 year at a time extensions.
I've gone out to bid for that service. I don't remember when the last time we actually went out to.
Yeah, it would be 4 years ago.
Okay.
Right. And 4 years before that. Same with Aramark.
Else? Okay, thank you, sir. And next, Dr. Fox, instructional update.
Good evening, Chairman Carter, Vice Chair Sheeler, board members, and Dr. Parrish. Tonight's instructional update will focus on our art program and showcase some of the great work that's taking place with our art teachers and our students in our schools. While the students are having many, many varied experiences in our art classes, unfortunately, I'll only be able to share a few highlights with you tonight. So starting at the primary school, at a recent family fun night, our art teacher at primary Poquoson School and primary elementary school, Miss Wynn, hosted a hands-on activity where students, parents, and family members collectively created a feather. These feathers were then joined together to make a beautiful mural called What Makes Your Heart Soar. Students and guests can stand next to the mural, take a picture, and talk about what makes their heart soar. Additionally, artwork from all grade levels is currently on display on the bulletin boards upstairs in the school board office, and it will be throughout the school as well. At the elementary school, Ms. Wynn's students participated in rock art during Kindness Week. The rocks shared messages of inspiration and kindness, and they were displayed throughout the school during that week and following. In a collaboration between art and music, the fifth grade students created recycled instruments to use during their upcoming fifth grade program. And also throughout the school, you can see different artwork on display during the school year. At Poquoson Middle School, students in Ms. Freeman's classes are creating their ideal self based on studying the work of the famous artist Frida Kahlo. They're painting their spirit animal, exploring the use of a variety of artistic tools, building three-dimensional sculptures with clay, and learning about art history and its connection to the world around them through themes such as how art influences the clothing they wear and the products that they buy. They're also creating monoprints and clay boxes for silk screening, and they're using a printing press. At Poquoson High School, Mrs. Bennett's students designed and installed murals throughout the building using painter's tape. These murals reflected a variety of student ideas and, in some cases, complemented elements of the building that were already visible. Ms. Wheelton's students are dabbling in fabric painting and expressing themselves through a variety of print forms ranging from traditional to contemporary. The students at the high school, their work has also been displayed at the Poquoson Seafood Festival and during National Art Month. We'd like to thank all of our wonderful art teachers for all of their outstanding work with our students this school year. That concludes my report, Dr. Carter.
Ma'am, questions, comments there? Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Fox. Any public comment tonight?
No, sir, we do not.
Sheila, would you walk us through the consent agenda, please?
Sure. The consent agenda includes the approval of financial reports, the approval of personnel action, the authorization to accept and expend funds in accordance with the attached request, the approval of minutes of April's regular meeting and the closed session, the authorization for the superintendent to execute a contract with Service Solutions Corporation to provide custodial and janitorial services to Poquoson City Public Schools, and the authorization to dispose of surplus property.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Reimers, could you call for a vote, please?
Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Hassel?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Troutman?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sheeler?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, consideration of second reading with changes to policy 6 Act 3.8, English learners, and 6 Tac 6.5, group test. Dr. Parrish.
Yes, we brought these to you for first reading at your meeting in April. I'm bringing them forward to you. These are a result of changes in language used in the field of education, and they're also being made as a result of the change in practices at the state and local level. You'll note that on this item and item B, that what we have done is gone through Chapter 6 of your policy to find those policies that need to be changed better meet state practices right now. You will see in June the very thick book of policy changes based on the General Assembly's work that they did this winter. So what we're trying to do now is go through the chapters to see if any changes need to be made that are not being changed as a result of General Assembly work each year. So with that, I would recommend approval of the school board policy changes presented tonight.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second? Second. Any questions, comments there? Reimers?
Mr. Holcomb? Ms. Hassel?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Troutman?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sheeler?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, consideration of first reading of changes to policy 6 Tac 4.4, promotion and retention, And 6-4.5, graduation SOL requirements to second reading. Dr. Parrish.
Yes, these again are from Chapter 6, and you'll see a number of changes, especially with regard to the graduation and SOL requirements, based on the changes that were made through the work of VDOE last year, which also impacted us this year, in part in terms of our changes to exams, as you may remember from the information that we sent out in December, then in January. So I recommend the approval to move this from first reading to second reading at your next meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Reimers?
Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Troutman?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sheeler?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. And last, consideration of approval of the Commonwealth Virginia Voluntary Group Long-Term Care Insurance Program Employer Adoption Agreement.
Yes, quite a long one.
Concise title.
Yeah. Mrs. Woodruff did a great job of explaining what this reading file contains. So you approving this will allow us to offer this to our employees, and as we get more information from VRS on this plan, we will certainly be sharing it with employers. So I'd recommend approval of this agreement.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Questions, comments there? This one? Sounds like a good opportunity. Ms. Reimers?
Mr. Holcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Troutman?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sheeler?
Aye.
Chairman Carter?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Communication, other matters. Dr. Parrish?
Yes, just a reminder that this is our last school board meeting before graduation, so when we come in June, our seniors will have graduated. Still have lots of end-of-year events. I believe most nights this week we have concerts for various schools and some other events coming up in the following week. So I just encourage our community to continue to participate in those end-of-the-year events, and also remind our students to please, our seniors especially, be safe in the coming weeks as they get ready to celebrate their graduation. I also want to announce that on June 12th, we are going to have a public meeting that will allow for public input into the Poquoson Middle School modernization project. We will be pushing information out in the coming days through our website, Twitter, and a variety of other tools. So I just want to make sure the community understands everyone is invited to that event, and our architects and architectural firm will have representatives there with some information that people will be allowed to take a look at, and again, provide their input on what they would like to see occur with the middle school as part of this modernization project. So, like I said, we'll be announcing this far and wide and hoping that we get participation. It will be from 5:30 to 7:30. We're actually going to hold the input meeting at the elementary school because that cafeteria area is much more conducive to the way the layout will be, but we'll have the middle school open if anybody wants to stop by and see the middle school before they go to that meeting. So more to come on that, but I thought I would make that announcement tonight. And on a slight personal note, I want to take the opportunity to wish happy birthday to Mrs. Reimers. It is her birthday today, and she's spending it with us at the school board meeting.
All right, Brendan.
Thank you. Our first report comes from the primary school. Poquoson Primary School is having a lot of fun this last quarter of the school year, and our time is surely flying. Our kindergarten, first, and second graders have performed for our families with their music programs. The students have practiced their singing, movement, and instrument skills all year in preparation for their programs. Ms. Harity and our students have put on terrific shows. Our first graders will sing the national anthem at the Peninsula Pilots baseball game on Monday, June 3rd at 7 p.m. Please join us. All of our grade levels have enjoyed field trips this month as well. Kindergarten visited the zoo, first grade went to the Portsmouth Children's Museum, and our second graders will visit Jamestown tomorrow. We are fortunate to have these experiences so close to us. We welcomed rising kindergarten parents to our annual kindergarten sneak peek, where parents have learned ways to help their children prepare for a successful transition to kindergarten. Parents heard from kindergarten teachers about the importance of reading daily and interacting with peers and adults to build social emotional skills for a positive kindergarten year. We would also like to thank our PTO volunteers for coordinating a successful spring carnival, which was held Friday, May 17th. Our families enjoyed games, prizes, concessions, and a fun-filled evening for families. Our students and staff are rounding out the school year with end-of-the-year assessments and field day in the coming weeks. We are so thankful for the support of our community, parents, and school board staff, and look forward to seeing everyone in the 2019-2020 school year. The next report comes from the elementary school. On April 24th, the students at PES enjoyed a robotics assembly provided by the PES PTO. It was amazing to see a 12-inch tall robot that could be programmed to do jumping jacks and turn cartwheels. The week of April 29th was SCA Spirit Week, and students enjoyed wearing hats, their favorite team's jerseys, and PES shirts. On Friday, May 3rd, the 5th graders visited the Poquoson Museum and learned about some of the history of Poquoson. The rising 3rd graders from Poquoson Primary School visited PES, and the 5th graders visited the middle school. Everyone is looking forward to making new friends and meeting new teachers. The PES OM team is traveling to the World Competition in Michigan, and we wish them the best of luck. PES will be completing its SOL testing around June 5th. Please check out the PES website and calendar for upcoming June events. The next report comes from the middle school. Poquoson Middle School is in full swing during the last month of the school year. 8th grade students at Poquoson Middle School are delving into S.E. Hinton's book, The Outsiders. This timeless novel explores themes of social inequalities, teen angst, and discovering the power of choice. Through web quests, video clips, music, and lyrics, students are able to explore the culture and trends of the 60s. Equipped with an understanding of the time period, students are engrossed in the trials and tribulations of the rival teens in the story and are able to fully connect this novel with similar themes found in the world today. Students in our Algebra 1 and Geometry classes are working in collaborative groups to solve authentic problems applied to different careers. Students were able to apply concepts taught in class to careers that include aerospace engineer, auto technician, astronaut, event coordinator, market analyst, and business administrator. These problems aim to help students construct responses using an evidence analysis conclusion framework. Upon completion, students will present their problems and solution to the class. Our all-in character education program is focusing on kindness with all students for the 4th quarter. PMS would like to thank the parents, the school board, and community for the support you have shown us throughout the school year. Our final report comes from the high school. The past month has been a busy one for the Poquoson High School community. Congratulations to our students for completing their WISE financial literacy examinations, advanced placement examinations, and career and technical education credentialing exams. And best of luck with SOL testing this week. In addition to many major assessments over the past month, students have performed excerpts from Romeo and Juliet in English 9, collaborated on graffiti review walls in history classes, and crafted mixed media self-portraits and art foundations. Senior Ben Lockhart was recognized at the New Horizons Regional Education Center Signing Day event, and senior Gabe Williams took 3rd place in the Norfolk State University Hampton Roads Business Communication Competition. Our own Mr. Diggs was named STEM Teacher of the Year for the Langley chapter of the Air Force Association. Additionally, our spring sports teams are nearing the ends of their seasons and setting their sights on regional competitions, and our Odyssey of the Mind teams are currently competing at the World Competition. The arts are also thriving at PHS, and we celebrated a stellar spring musical of Grease, as well as a dynamite spring chorus concert. We look forward to our spring band concert, which will be held tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. at Grafton High School. Stop by the PHS main office lobby to see a tribute to teachers from our yearbook students and wonderful papier-mâché creatures from our art students. We encourage our students to have a strong finish to the year, and we look forward to celebrating the class of 2019 at our commencement ceremony on June 14th at 6 p.m. We wish everyone much success as they conclude the school year and thank our families, the school board, and the local community for their continued support. This concludes my reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Mr. Holcomb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good job this year. You'll be missed. Thank you for all your work. Also, to everyone else, I think it was football season last week. I don't know what happened to this year. Maybe I'm getting a bit older. I don't know how that works. But thank you for an outstanding year, for all the way from Dr. Parrish through your outstanding staff, principals back there in the back of the room, teachers, support staff. Just thank you for another outstanding year. It's been, I guess it was hard because it went so fast. We've done great work, so thank you for that. And then I want to reiterate my support for the Commonwealth of Virginia Voluntary Group Long-Term Care Insurance Program Employer Adoption Agreement as the longest name of anything ever, and I think it'll be a great program, though. I'm glad we're doing that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Helsel.
I mean, how do I top that? Brendan, you've done great. All your updates have always been wonderful and very accurate, so I know we'll miss having you next year. Congratulations to all the seniors graduating in a few weeks. I'm always astounded at graduation to see how many get scholarships, and the total amount always kind of blows me away, so congratulations and best of wishes. Also, good luck to all of our high school teams that have made it to the postseason. I believe the varsity team just won tonight, so congratulations. Great year, and I'm looking forward to the summer.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
I just wanted to thank the volunteers on behalf of the After Prom Committee. It's a massive undertaking that those parents and volunteers go through to make the After Prom what it is, and some of my best memories of high school are from After Prom, that's for sure. So I've taken part and volunteered now. As I get a little bit older now, it's a little bit more difficult to stay up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. At least that Sunday's a little bit more difficult now, but wanted to thank all the volunteers on behalf of that. Best wishes to Brendan. It's been a pleasure having you on the board, and best of luck with the college selection process. Come the fall, there's going to be a university or college. It's going to be a pleasure to have you enroll. Thanks to Poquoson Art League. When it comes to art, I fall short, but my wife and brother are very talented artists, and the Poquoson Art League's been a big advocate in our community for quite some time, and it was nice that they recognized our school by making their donations. We greatly appreciate their continued support. And finally, it was a wonderful recognition, recognizing Delegate Helsel tonight as retirement is looming. He's been such a big advocate for our schools, and Dr. Parrish noted all of his accomplishments, but he's a first-class human being, and we wish him the best moving forward. So, thanks.
Troutman.
There's truly not a lot to be said after you three, so thank you very much. Brendan, again, congratulations. I think you're going to hear from everybody tonight, so get ready, man. It's just one of those things. And again, to all the staff and on the schools, it's been a great year. We're not quite done yet, as the superintendent just said, so let's finish strong with all the SOLs and make us look like we did a lot of good work this year. But thank you so very much. I got an email from Dr. Parrish earlier. All the school board members did, and I don't know if you had a chance to see it yet, but the Friends of the National World War II Memorial Teachers Network, another very long title for a group organization, recognized our school again for our Veterans Project with Mrs. Morrison. So wanted to make sure if you had a chance to look that up, that was worthwhile to watch and really exciting to see our school be recognized at a national level. And we just continue to do great things from that perspective. Again, Helsel family as a whole, congratulations on all your support for the school and the whole 9 yards from that perspective. Graduates, the best is yet to come for you in life, and prayers for continued success and health as you go throughout your life.
Thank you. Ms. Sheila.
Thank you, and not much more to say, but I do have the honor of representing Poquoson City Schools on New Horizons School Board, and we had a signing day. We call it. It's the second annual signing day. We had 70 new hires in that program. 30 different companies participated, which is almost twice the number of companies that participated in the program last year. And Bobby Scott came and spoke at the ceremony, which was very exciting. Daily Press wrote up how that went, and we're hoping for an even bigger program next year through that. And I just wanted to say how wonderful it was to hear Taylor Fraser and her talk about the random act of kindness. It is true that one small action by one person can change the world. It's a wonderful presentation that she made.
Thank you, ma'am. And I could echo everything everybody said. Thanks for a great year. Brendan, great job all year, and Del also for your continued support and work for education. I'd also like to thank City Council for the budget. It'll get us there, so thank you all very much. Finish strong, and with that, do we have material for board review?
We do not this evening.
Then we will adjourn the work session.